Are you a real estate investor like myself looking to invest in 2022? Now, no question that Memphis is ideal, but I get a ton of questions over and over again over the last 10 years of working with clients in 16 different countries and over 32 different states. The first question that we get oftentimes is, how do I get started? Now, the answer to that question depends on the individual objectives and where they are at the time we have this conversation. So, for example, some investors come in, don't have an LLC set in place to understand the reason why they should have that. Some investors have cash, some of them don't. Some of them don't have financing set up in place. Some of them don't have a desired strategy in terms of how they want to go about investing. For example, some investors want to buy and hold, some want to buy, fix and flip, some wants to buy, hold, buy, renovate, place tenants, refinance, and take the cash out of the refinance and go do it again. So all those strategies are encompassed in being able to answer that first question. Number two, the second question that we get, what areas in Memphis should I buy in? Well, that question, the answer to that question varies as well. What is your budget? Like, what is your risk tolerance level? What I mean by that is kind of like blue chip stocks. So you have Microsoft, Apple's, those type blue chip stocks where you're going to get a return on investment, but the risk is minimum compared to the overall market. Or you may find something similar to a penny stock or something that may be in the crypto space that may have more volatility, but you're younger, you have more to risk, and you're able to take those chances with that type of product. So same thing is with real estate. Here on the ground, you want to look at it and say, okay, listen, I have a low risk tolerance, I'm really conservative. And so what you want to do, depending on your budget, you want to be in an area that has great neighborhood integrity, the ability to be able to have some appreciation and solid rents. And of course, depending on the rent ranges, you have different types of pool of prospective tenants. So that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. But with that being said, those are the things you want to look at. Those are the conversations that you want to have when you're talking to a real estate professional, a consultant like myself, and a real estate agent. Like, how can they help you assess your risk tolerance and be able to contrast that against the actual marketplace itself? The third question that we often get is, how do I get the ideal return on my investment? Ideal return, of course, varies as well. So you have a situation where you have a lot of investors that comes, and myself included, that comes with ideally the 1% rule. That if I purchase something for $100,000, that property should be able to generate $1,000 a month in rent. So 1%. Also, you have investors that comes, I want 75% loan to value or 75% ARV, which means that after repair value should be all in at 75%, and I have a 25% upside where if I'm looking to do a flip, I can get roughly a 20-25% return on my investment in terms of that particular profit. Now, the market has shifted. Memphis market, as well as every market across the country, included outside of the states where we consult and talk to clients all the time, that the market has shifted. The 1% rule still does exist to some degree, but because rents are rising, but the prices of homes are rising at a faster pace than the actual rent. So it's one of those situations where you want to keep in mind that the 1% rule may not always be ideal in a particular market, but what are you going to do? What are your options as an investor? Are you going to sit on the sideline and wait it out and maybe hope and pray the market crash, prices come down, and you're able to swoop in 2007, 2008 and make something happen? I don't think that's going to take place, but hey, I can't predict the future either. If I could, I probably would just play the lottery and be doing all of this investment stuff and just sit back in a cabana with a pina colada. Now, number 4 question that we typically get is, how do I go about being able to choose which direction to go, like what strategy works best for me? And I always start with, like, what are your objectives are? Like, what brought you to consider real estate investing? And whatever brought you to consider real estate investing, if typically it's something that's long-term or retirement, I want to have X amount of dollars per month times per year in order to be able to have that passive income. Now, based on that specific feedback, then we set something up in place where we're looking to buy and hold long term. So you want to make sure the neighborhoods are even more solid, because the integrity of the neighborhood matters, because in some cases where the risk tolerance is high, those neighborhoods in some cases tend to turn over at a faster rate than some other neighborhoods as well. Now, all of this is relatively speaking, but these are general questions that we get. And the last and final 5th question is that, how do I get a property, get it renovated, and get it tenanted, and be able to have that turnkey type property without paying the turnkey investment prices? Let me say that again. How can I get a turnkey investment property in the end when I don't want to pay the absorbent rate or the higher rate of the turnkey investment properties? I would say what you want to do is team up with somebody like myself and my company, Real Estate Diversified Assets. What we do is bridge the gap between out-of-state investors and being able to acquire properties, being able to vet the property, being able to get the property renovated, being able to assist you get the property tenant by outsourcing you to property management companies, and also being able to make sure over time that the property is looked after independently from the people that you may be dealing with directly here on the ground. So those are the top 5 things that we typically get in terms of the most frequently asked questions. Of course, reach out to me directly, terrencehill.realestate.com, or visit rediversifiedassets.com, the link below, as well as the QR code that'll be popping up soon.